it's Holly and I'm here with a little series review, but mostly discussion video. I wanted to talk, if you move, it's the cat. I should just stop saying that, but whatever. I can't stop him from doing this, so he's just gonna do it. Also, if you hear any road noise, it's because I have my door open to the outside. It's like 60 degrees today and I'm just living my best life. He also keeps trying to steal Baby Yoda and I'm not having that. Like, you have to be nice to Baby Yoda. Anyways, so today I wanted to talk about the Ice Planet Barbarians series by Ruby Dixon because I have just consumed almost the whole series. So there is one book left that is released that I have not read, and then there is one more book, like, it must have like just been announced or something because I was on Goodreads and all of a sudden there was like an 18th book. So, and that comes out May 1st. I got sucked into this series, I think, starting in February. And I kind of just wanted to talk about it a little bit. So like I said, it's a 17, now 18 book series. There are a bunch of like novellas that go in there as well that you can read. They kind of just add like additional things, I guess, to it. They're not like necessary reading. A lot of them are more just, she calls them slice of life things. They kind of just add like a little bit extra to the characters. Stop it. So I primarily have listened to these. Of course I have the hiccups now. So I listened to like the first 7 or 8 on Audible Escape, and then they didn't have them anymore, and so then I found them on Scribd. So I've been listening to them on Scribd, but then when I run out of like credits or whatever, I still don't understand how Scribd works, but eventually they tell, after I listen to like 2, they're like, you can't listen anymore, and I'm like, okay. I just found out that my library does have them through Hoopla, so not through Overdrive, but through Hoopla I can get them from my library. I've been kind of like alternating between Scribd and Hoopla. Hoopla, I think I can get like 5 books a month, so that works. And then the novellas, I have actually I just found out that some of the novellas are narrated, but it was too late for me, so it's fine. But I just got those through Kindle Unlimited and read them with my eyeballs instead of my ears. Is it weird that I want to call them my earballs? Probably. I used to say that all the time when I could lie and tell you when I was younger, well, which would still be true, and make you think it was when I was like 5, but it was definitely when I was in college. My college roommate hated the word eyeball, so I would say it all the time, and then I would say earballs. Anyways, that's not the point of this. So I will say I did personally prefer listening to these. And I'll talk a little bit about the narrators. All the narrators are the same. It is Holly Jackson and Mason Lloyd. You know, your girl Holly has to support other Hollies in all things. Us Hollies have to stick together with our mildly unique name. But I actually think that they are doing a really good job, and it could come across weird because obviously they're narrating, every book basically follows a different couple, and so it could get repetitive voice-wise, but it's not. Especially Holly, I think she does more varied voices, but he does a good job too. Obviously I think she has maybe more to work with because the majority of the female characters are humans. We'll get into what what this plot of this series is in a minute. But most of the female characters are human, so, and most of them come from the US, so they have like different accents depending on where they're from. So like there's like a southern girl, and then there actually is a girl from France and stuff, so I think she has a little bit more flexibility, whereas all of the male characters are aliens. So what accent choices do you make with aliens? I don't know. But I think they do a really good job. The books tend to be short. They're like 230-ish pages usually. The audiobooks are usually around 5 hours. So let's talk about what it is. So, because we're already like 5 minutes in this video. So it's like sci-fi, romance / erotica. I think especially as the series progresses, it has less and less of a focus on sex. Not that sex isn't prevalent, it is. It's a huge part of it, but I feel like it becomes more emotional, like, and less banging, but still lots of banging. I don't know. So basically what it is it starts with women who have been abducted by aliens from Earth, and they're going to be sold into slavery, but they like rebel against their captors, and the spaceship that they're in crash lands on this ice planet, and like ice snow planet thing, like think Hoth from Star Wars. They actually call it not Hoth. That was not an original idea on my part, but you know. And so then they end up meeting these like blue aliens, and I'm in the middle of filming a video, sir. And they end up having to get this like alien being thing put in them so that they can live on this planet. Everybody has one, including the blue alien dudes and girls. There are alien girls too, but there's only a few alien girls. And part of having this like parasite basically put in you to keep you alive, it does this thing called resonance, where it basically like finds a mate for you, and then you have to have sex until you make a baby. Otherwise it like won't stop yelling at you, and it makes you really horny. It's really ridiculous, but I'm eating this shit up, like. And I don't even like fated mate stories, and I like particularly, and I feel like this is fated mates, and I'm still liking it. But yes, the blue aliens, they're like kind of very like primitive. I don't know, like if that's the word I want to use, but that's like how I think. Like they hunt, they use like spears, they don't have technology, and they also are very small. Like there's only like a couple dozen of them left. They have very few women, so they're very worried that they're gonna like die out. And so having these humans come is like a godsend for them. And then each book basically follows a different pairing throughout the series. Every pairing has been a male-female pairing. If that's something that like you wish there was more diversity, I don't know if there ever would be more. I'm actually curious to see if she ever does. She like makes like a brief mention in one of the books to a poly relationship, so I feel like she might do something someday. I don't know, we'll see. And most of the pairings are a human female and a male alien, but there are a couple like alien pairings. I think the aliens are kind of like the big thing that like makes people feel weird about this, because they're very human-like, but they're bigger, they're blue, they have horns, they have a tail, they have other things. But yes, so let's talk about characters a little bit. I'm not going to go into detail about all of them, but I do feel like a lot of the characters are unique, which especially with such like a big cast as the series progresses, like we're at 18 books here, like this is a lot of people, and there's people who aren't paired up. I still feel like I know who each of these people are, but I do have favorites. Like if you read them and you want to know, I like Kira a lot. I really liked her story. I actually really like Josie. I feel like a lot of people probably don't like her, but I like her as a fellow person who never shuts up. I get it. I did like Liz, and I really liked Harlow. I like a lot of the earlier women. I did just listen to Ariana's story, and I did really like that as well. For the guys, a lot of these guys, they're like big kind of alpha males, but like they're not like, they're jealous, but it's not obnoxious. I don't know like what the difference is, but it doesn't bother me at all, and usually any jealousy bothers me. I don't think jealousy is attractive personally, but these guys, they're like big sweethearts a lot of times. Like they really care about their mate. They say mate. I know some people don't like that word, but yeah, that's what the word is in the book. So, but they really like care for them, and eventually they start having kids, and I like seeing them as dads and everything. Some of my favorite guys are, this probably isn't a surprise because I feel like a lot of times I like the guy that's with the girl I like, but whatever. I like Aihaku, Rook, and Rokon are some of my favorites. So let's talk about like the romance and everything in general. The biggest surprise for me was how not repetitive these stories were, especially in like the first 10 to 12 books. Like that it did feel like these romances were not following the same formula and the same setup every single time. Like I was so impressed because I was fully expecting them to be the exact same thing every time, and they weren't. Like I said, it's kind of a fated mate story. I did feel like a lot of the romance, especially when it related to like the sexual aspects, felt a little bit like wish fulfillment, which I know some people would be like, isn't that all romance? And it's like, yeah, I guess. But there are certain things about these guys that I feel like is just like a woman's like dream, I guess, for a variety of ways. And that's fine. Like it's not bad. It's not good. It is what it is. So I do want to talk a little bit about like why I think I'm liking them. One, they're pretty easy to listen to and understand, although as the series has progressed I feel like we've gotten more information and there's been like more world building, which I most definitely did not expect going into this series, and I've been really impressed with that. But they're still relatively easy to understand, and like know like what like the politics and the world are and everything. I think there's a ton of really good friendships like between the men, the women, the aliens, the humans. Like people create and it's not just like one happy family. Like it is, but it's also not. Like you have little groups, which I think is perfectly natural. Like these three women really get along with each other, so like they hang out a ton of times, and like these aliens really like each other and hang out all the time. And I think it feels really natural, and it also has like some found family elements, which, you know, I love. And honestly, when I read them, I kind of feel like I'm going home. I don't know if it's because I've read so many at this point, but when it starts, I just like, I relax. Like I hit play on the audiobook and I'm just like, well, I'm just going back to Knothoth to hang out with my girls. Like, I don't know. There's just something about it that feels very relaxing and homey to me. And there was recently in like in the last book I read, it was Ariana's book, there was some conversations with her son that Ruby Dixon, are you gonna write about these kids? Because I require a story about these half human, half alien kids so much. Like, oh my gosh, I could just live in this world. And I know there is like a spin-off series, which I will read next, but I want to see these kids grow up and get their own romances. I'm here for it. So yeah, that's really it. I just wanted to kind of like talk about it because it's just been like a big part of my life the last couple of months, I guess. I don't know. Have you read these? Do you like them? Do you hate them? I feel like I've seen a lot of people on YouTube and in like Facebook groups I'm in finding these books and or like re-finding them and reading them lately. So yeah, should I read other Ruby Dixon stuff that's not set in this world? I know she has a ton of stuff, so let me know. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. Apparently I'm into big blue horned tailed alien romance / maybe erotica. And I'm not ashamed. They're getting me through. These books are getting me through. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.